I don't know why it does that. Hello, welcome. Welcome, welcome, good morning. Hello. Hi. How, how is everyone doing? Because, wow.
1 year time it flies.
How interesting. What a time. Yeah. A genetic counselor on Friday. We sure are out here. How does anyone want to hear something exciting? Because look what just came in the mail. Is everyone ready? Look at our fancy, expensive vlogging camera. It's here. I'm about to put the case on. We got a pink case. We're official vloggers. It only took, what is this, like year 3? Like 3 years? Very exciting. We're at 15,000 on YouTube, 15,000 followers, which is crazy. Crazy. So excited. So excited. Super nervous. I think, I know we've been, making content, right, for a couple years now. And yet, every time there's, a major new thing that we've, spent money on or something, I am so nervous that I'll be like, what if I spent $700 on a vlogging camera and, nobody watches any of our videos anymore? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. So I'm feeling, really thankful, but also, really nervous about it. But we bought the camera. We got a microphone. We have one SD card because I have no idea, how quickly we're going to want to change them out. So I just bought one to start with to see, how... I don't know. It seemed what if we're the kind of people who, because I'm very organized. So what if part of my, nightly closing duties is just taking things off the SD card, putting them on the computer? It's if I end up not needing more than one because I switch things off so much, then I don't want to, waste money by buying more than one before I need to. I think, obviously, if we went on vacation or something, we would need more, but anyway. So, yeah. That's true. But right now we have one. Thanks for being here. Yeah, really stoked. Very exciting, but also, yeah, a little nerve-wracking. What a week already. Wowee. What a time already. No, that's very... Getting a cat today, that's very exciting. That's very exciting. I love making the YouTube videos. They are definitely my favorite part of our job now. Sorry to everyone here, which I also really like stream. It do be a time to be alive. I would say everyone share your little wins. My little win, let me think. My little win is getting all of our cool vlogging stuff in. Very excited about that. So excited. Love it. The Trans Rights Readathon is 2 months away. Went to the Big Scary Doctor in Birmingham. Love it. So proud of you. Got a diagnosis I've been seeking. Even better. 7, I can't believe it's only 2 weeks. Oh, yeah. I went to the Onyx Storm midnight release. Do not worry. I'm only on chapter 10 or 12, though. Getting new tats over the weekend. What are you getting? Organizing my office. Love. I love organizing so much. I'm vertical. I ate food, drank water. Love it. Spending the night for the first time. That's so cute. Oh, that's the best. I want a knockoff Nugget couch so bad. I don't need one anytime soon, though. Pinless? I can't wait. Please message me privately because I don't want to give anyone spoilers, but I'm so excited. Welcome.
Yeehaw.
26 months is so long. That's so bonkers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Changing my sheets, that's a great win. My other win is I think the baby's really close to saying mommy or mama, you know, like so close. Wednesday. I'm glad that you're here though. Teacup, that's all we can hope for. I hope we all have a job. I don't have my wedding ring on today. Uh-oh. I forgot to put it on after doing dishes. No, he hasn't said his first word. He hasn't said anything. He just started waving. I know we don't share much about him, so I promise I'll stop in a minute, but he just started waving. Now, I'd like to be clear, if you've never met a baby, they don't wave like normal, but we go like this, or we'll go like this, and he just started doing this, like his daddy will be holding him, and he'll go like, and I'm like, stop. That's so cute. It's very small. Like this. The most perfect little baby. He's so cute. Went back to work for the first time in 2 weeks. Hell yeah. Husband who? No. Only baby's daddy. He's very cute. It's so bananas. It's also like, honestly, babies are being so brave all the time. People who hate babies or who are mean about babies on airplanes, I don't trust them as people. Because, like, can you imagine? Can you literally, like, you can't. Like, there's many reasons why we don't have, like, memories as babies. But one of them is, like, it's gotta be, like, so traumatic every day to wake up. And, like, especially when they're really, really tiny, like, they've never been cold before. Of course they're going to scream. Can you imagine if you had only ever been warm and like always fed? Also, like when you are in utero, the person carrying you is breathing for you because they get oxygen through the umbilical cord. They're eating for you. Your only job is to be warm and sleep. Quite literally your only job. So of course they're upset. I'm personally jealous. It's not acceptable for me to have a meltdown at Costco, but they can. Yeah. I think I might actually be a baby. The only way to experience that comfort again is to be a man in a heterosexual relationship. Every new day is the hardest day of their lives. Yeah, they're being so brave. Hey, you know what? Tell a baby they're brave today. Because, damn, they really are. Yeah. Here's my hopes and dreams and goals for the day. Oh my god, Wednesday? Thank you so much. Holy crap. Pinless, I can't believe you don't know any babies. They don't have any babies at the factory you work at? They don't have like, do you guys know in college, I don't know if maybe this is an American thing, but you know how like they'll have like it's finals week and they'll be like, oh, everyone go to the quad or whatever, like at 3 p.m. on Thursday, and there's like puppies for child labor is illegal. I didn't mean babies working. I meant babies just to visit. No, I have not read. Should I? What is it about? Dianetics? Do you mean like Scientology? Emotional support babies. Anyway, yeah, it's like come to the quad and like there's like puppies to play with to like help you with your stress of finals week. Maybe they didn't do it everywhere, but they certainly did that at my college. We had 2 donkeys come to the college. I love puppies at the finals library. An oxygen bar? What do you mean you had an oxygen bar? Do you mean bar as in... I have so many questions. It was like flavored oxygen? No. I've seen those before in hotels. Hello, welcome. Thanks for being here. Lil Sebastian. So like a candle? Puppies and massages? Interesting. That's not for me. That's not for me. Even as a bit, even as a joke. We had goat yoga. Do the puppies give massages? Great question. You ever seen puppy paws? They're pretty big. We need to train Lucy in massage. Yeah, she's not pulling her weight, clearly. The local cat shelter where I grew up does cat yoga. That's interesting. Do 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 do. I wish. I've seen the goat yoga. Here's the thing. I'm not an animal person, right? We know this. If you've been around, you should know. I'm not an animal person. So, like, I just really can't imagine anything worse than having to do exercise with animals. That's not for me. And I'm so happy for people who it is for. But that's not for me. Oh my gosh. We just did a rewatch of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. We were going to make a video on it. We still haven't. Maybe we still will. I don't know. On the second watch, I actually found it even more boring. I didn't love it that much the first time, to be honest. And that's coming from someone who famously loves, like, reality television. Especially Mormon reality television. But, sorry, it's so cold. So, like, if I want to struggle with cats and yoga, I'll stay home. Yeah, I could do it here for free. But they are so hard to tell apart. Oh my goodness gracious. If any of you guys live in Utah, how do you have, like, any friends that you can tell apart? I guess everyone here probably has friends who look different from one another. But, like, if you went to college in Utah, is it like that everywhere? Because I literally, the first, like, 4 episodes couldn't tell those girls apart. There was Taylor, who was, like, the main one, who was pregnant. Yeah, it's like that everywhere. The Mormon glaze. Yeah, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I'm only friends with gay people, though, so they're easy to tell apart. They all go to the same hairdresser and Botox person. Yeah, so anyway, I started this for a reason. We watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives for the second time. Oh, I should update this. What do you guys... I'm going to ask you this question. And I want you to tell me your answer and then tell me vaguely where you live. Please don't dox yourself, but just say, like, Midwest or UK or West Coast. Because I am curious if it's a regional thing or not. But when I say, like, that person has a homestead, like, what does that bring to mind to you? I'm going to give you, like, a full minute to think. Sorry. I meant give your answer and then tell me where you're from. I should have started with that. I didn't mean to confuse everyone. Illyria, that's what I'm saying. Enough to sustain themselves. Okay. So, but I think everyone's like basically, it seems like on the same thing. I don't necessarily think of it as living off the grid. But I think of it as like you could potentially live off the grid for a little bit. So like when someone says they have a homestead, I don't necessarily think that they are necessarily like a trad wife or somebody like stressful. But maybe it's because in Alabama, some people do just like have farms and they're like super normal, not stressful. When I think of someone who is like, they consider themselves a homesteader, I'm thinking they make their own like maybe laundry detergent, probably make their own bread, definitely have like some animals, particularly chickens or like pigs. I am not thinking necessarily that they have like a whole farm. Canning and jarring stuff. I'm thinking like it's somewhere in between a regular person who lives in like an apartment and like a full farm. I think of it as like a stepping stone. Spins their own yarn. But I do think it's a slippery slope. I think that's fair. Yeah. We didn't have an argument or anything, but I think some people, it's like spring year one Stardew Valley. Yeah, I don't think of it as if someone says they're a homesteader, I don't immediately think stressful. But I guess it sounds like maybe in the Pacific Northwest or other places, people really do think of it immediately as something stressful. Pinlez is always the most correct. I think we can all agree. I think we know. What's new? Tell me something I don't know. Yeah. There are a lot of people here. I wasn't gonna say anything. I'm glad that I didn't freaking clean behind stream. Living off the land/cottage core. Yeah, I feel like it's not necessarily Mormons attract the people. Welcome. Thanks for being here. Yeah. Feels like a gateway drug to something cultish. It could be. I think that's the thing about a lot of things, though. So many things, like, end up, like, can start a pipeline. You know what I mean? There's a correlation between stressfulness and off the grid. Oh, no, have we attracted the homesteaders? Did they hear I was going to talk about them? I'm not trying to be a homesteader. I'd very much like to be clear. But when we were watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, one of the girlies towards the end is like, I want to have a homestead. And Felix was like, oh no. And when someone says that, I don't immediately go, oh no. I'm like, tell me more. Tell me more. Yes. If you didn't know, if you don't live in the Pacific Northwest and you're not like a true crime kind of girly, which, like, not content warning, but like little caveat, I do think true crime stuff sometimes gets a little dicey ethically. So like, I'm not saying go out there and consume a lot of true crime content, but when you specifically watch documentaries about different cults, so many of them have been in the Pacific Northwest. Oh yeah, I forgot about all the cults, LMAO. Congratulations. You're gonna have a great time. I feel like homestead is kind of like living off a farm. I feel like a farm, and maybe that's the difference. When someone says they have a farm, I'm thinking you have like horses, cows, chickens, goats, pigs. That's what I'm thinking, right? Oh no, Pinlez. Here's the thing about me. I don't know how to pronounce anything. Oh, maybe. What if you're specifically a dairy farmer? That's a great question. Farm is more than 2 types of animals. I will agree with that. I would say farm is more than 2. More than 2, like, non-domesticated animals. I guess maybe are they still domesticated if they don't live in your house? We can't have animals because our dogs can't behave themselves. Farm doesn't immediately mean livestock to me. Interesting. Tell me more, Emmy. What does farm mean to you? Oh, because you marry the animals, Penless. Duh. Come on. Farm means produce to me. I forgot about... They're never going to let me play Stardew Valley again. I forgot that that's also a farm. I'm so silly. Probably Mushroom Jody. Maybe it is like an American word thing. Yeah. Farm to me means producing anything on a bigger scale than just your family. Interesting. Now, by that definition, though, are extreme couponers farmers? Morgan canceled in Pelican Town. Hello, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yeehaw.
I was about to say, why isn't it yeehawing? Do couponers produce coupons? That's a good point. They're not making anything. That's true. I'm with you. What's farmette versus farm? Hello, welcome. My coupons are currently flourishing. This is a level of philosophy. Welcome. It's 11:30. Define farm. Interesting. How do you fertilize coupons? Do you guys say coupons or coupons? Pinless, why would I Google something? I run my life now as if I'm in #BoyMomsClub. Coupons. Coupon. Couponers are the gatherers in a hunter-gatherer society. More like cute pawns, am I right? So true. The other thing that came in the mail this week that I'm sure you were sitting at home wondering, I wonder what Morgan got in the mail this week. Look at this. This is my new calendar. I actually bought it from a different creator that I follow, who's an artist. But she did this, like, series of famous paintings, but as ducks. Because ducks are, like, her main, like, thing that she draws. Isn't that so cute? Anyway, that's what we're doing today. We're going to set up both of my calendars. Also my reading journal. I think maybe we'll start with reading journal because it's a little easier to talk and do that at the same time. But we'll see. The duck stamp person. Oh, where they designed the duck stamp? Yeah, ASMR. I've realized being engaged to a Floridian as a British person means I will just say a word whatever the last way I heard it, and it's a surprise for everyone involved. Felix has the same problem when we go to the South. When I take Felix to Alabama, there's so many things they are using wrong. And it's just like, and it's not like so wrong that people like look at them sideways, but it's like just wrong enough that people are like, sorry, did I mishear you? Like, what did you say? And a great example is in the South, where I'm from, people say ma'am and sir, like to everyone, basically, to anyone who's like working. So, like when I was a server in Alabama, anytime I was like talking to any sort of like customer, and if I like needed their attention, I'd be like, excuse me, ma'am. Or if they asked me a question, like, do you guys have such and such today? I'd be like, no, ma'am, we have blah, 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 blah. And it's just like normal. It's just how people talk. I personally really like it once I got old enough for people to call me ma'am, because I was like, I'm an adult. I'm a grown-up. That's right. Other people don't feel that way. That's so fair. I would never make anyone say it or make anyone have it be said to them. said garage the American way the other day, and I was like, it is definitely formal. It's just like how people talk where I'm from. Here in the Pacific Northwest, if you say ma'am to someone, they think that you hate them. They think you think they are an old, decrepit, useless, old, tiny little speck of dust, and they hate it when you say it. Don't say it out here. They hate it. It's formal in a fun way. I agree. I like it. I like it for me. Now, I'm not trying to tell anyone how to feel or how to be, but my gender is miss and not ma'am, but ma'am is fine. Yeah. We say sir in a really informal bro way here. That's so fun. As you've all seen in our content, we say girl in a very informal, non-gendered way to literally every item and every person. Anything giving you trouble or also anything helping you, that's a girl to me. Girl, sorry. Now, obviously, if somebody doesn't like it, we wouldn't say it to them. But in our house, I would say we say it a lot to our baby, who is not a girl, as far as we know. Maybe will be one day, we don't know. And then we mostly, I would say girl to like a cup that falls on the ground or the toilet paper running out of toilet paper. We'll be like, girl, I need more toilet paper. Anyway, so I forgot why I started this. Oh, Felix using things the wrong way. I said girl to a vending machine last week. Welcome. I'm reading so many books right now. I'm in the middle of Incidents Around the House, which is by Josh Mallerman, who wrote Bird Box. I picked it up. I got it from my library because people said it was like one of the scariest books last year. And I was like, I'll be the judge of that. I can't read it at night. And it depends on the person and what scares you, to be clear. It is scary. I'll tell you what, it is scary. It's told from the perspective of a 6-year-old. I don't know how much you remember about being 6. But do you guys remember being, like, scared of monsters under your bed or, like, a monster in your closet? Imagine if it were all true and also a 6-year-old was telling you the story. So it's very, like, it reminds you, the reader, of, like, when you're, like, going to pee in the middle of the night and you're, like, really worried that when you turn around there's going to be a monster there, except there is. So, like, I am 30 years old, and the past, like, few nights going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, I'm, like, running. It's really good. It's called Incidents Around the House. Like, there's been an incident. It's really good. I'm also in the middle of Onyx Storm. And then I'm also technically in the middle of Death Note Volume 6. I'm like, that's like what I've been reading to fall asleep, because like it's like interesting enough that like I am excited to finish it, but it's like not so interesting that I stay up like trying to finish it. But anyway, yes, maybe I won't start with the reading journal. I don't know. Here's the thing. I really am excited about my calendar, so maybe I will start with that. There should be a leftist light Yagami is literally going to be my... That's what I say at the end of every single thing. I read Death Note in high school. No, middle school? Must have been middle school. I read Death Note in middle school, and I don't remember anything that happens, to be clear. All I remember so specifically how I felt getting to the end of it. I remember which classroom I was in, with which teacher, and I remember like it was the first like series where I got to the end and I like put the book down and I was like, they had to have planned everything from the beginning. Like I wanted to immediately reread it, but I didn't own it. My friend owned it. Light Mangione is so funny. So I remember like loving it so much. I never watched the show. I haven't seen the musical. I haven't seen the like Light Yagami, but he's in New York for some reason, like American made movie that came out a couple years ago. So I'm rereading it, and then I think I'm gonna do those things. But it was really good. I remember it being really good. It's been pretty good so far. I did forget. I was telling Shelly this yesterday. I forgot that like in manga, and I guess maybe in all Japanese like media, I have no idea. I did have the live action movie. I have it on DVD. The first one. They made more than one, I think, where it's like the Japanese one. I forgot that like the way that it's written. And if anyone speaks Japanese, like primarily even, let me know if this is just like because of translation or what. But the way that it's written, it'll be like character A and B. And character A will be like, I would say medium yelling. And they'll be like, we have to go to the police station immediately. This is so important that we go to the police station. Ah! And then person B will be like, here's a very normal even tone sentence about why I don't think we should go to the police station. And then the first person will be like, yeah, you're right. Maybe we shouldn't go. Oh, well, sorry for that. And it's just so like, boop, 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 boop. It could be just Death Note. I feel like Sailor Moon, the show, was also like that. And I would say these are the two, those two and Hamtaro is like all I've got for things I was like allowed to consume as a kid. So it's just so, the emotions are only high and low is how it feels reading it. So yeah, it's Hamtaro time. To be fair, I think my parents, like, they asked what Death Note was about. And I was like, oh, it's this guy who's like, I've misled them for sure. I was like, oh, I take that back. I also read Fruits Basket when Fruits Basket was really big. I should reread that one, honestly. I'm sure they have it at the library. I wonder if it's a holdover from Kabuki Theater. Interesting. Maybe. I think I explained Death Note by being like, it's a guy who's trying to make the world a better place. And he's working with, like, God to do that. Which isn't a lie. Family trauma, like, whoa. It's about light and justice. That's so true. Isn't it? It's so interesting. I also definitely, as a young person, didn't realize how many things they were, like, changing is the wrong word. But, like, there's so many things that I have had to, like, not Google, but, like, I clearly didn't understand how many differences there are between American and Japanese culture. Also, it's in, like, 2005, right? So there's also that. But, like, he is in college, but he's, like, he's, like, been in college for a minute, and he's only 18. And then, like, there's, like, a bit where one of the characters is like, oh, I really like the way that your name is. She says spelled, but that can't be necessarily what they would say, because the next line is like, oh, yeah, it's pronounced like light, but the character is for moon or something like that, which, like, you couldn't really do that in English. There's, like, a lot of things like that I definitely just, like, didn't pay attention to when I was reading it the first time. And this time, as an adult, it's more interesting because I'm like, I love that everybody's different. I love that culture is different. So there's been a lot of me Googling things being like, what does this mean? And every now and then there's, like, the little footnotes, right, where it's like, in Japanese culture. Ba 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 ba. So, really interesting. Yeah. Something with reading the characters differently. Death Note live action sucks except Willem Dafoe as Ryuk. I am so excited to watch it. But we'll see. Hello, really hot girl Asian. Hello, hello, hello. Anyway, yeah, it's been good so far. Maybe I'll reread Fruits Basket this year. I literally don't remember anyone's name. At least with Death Note, I remembered L, I remembered Light, who's the main character. And that's it. I think I remember Ryuk, and then I remember one other character who is introduced later. Much later, I think. But yeah. The only thing I remember is I pick up a chip and I eat it. That's a good thing to remember. Anyway. Maybe I don't want to work on our calendar. What do you guys want to do today? I kind of want to make something on Canva. I kind of want to... I don't know. I kind of want to work on my calendar. I don't remember much of it except there was a guy with a notebook and a weird, creepy friend. That's so true. I also, there's so many things happening. There's so many things happening in the book that I do not remember at all. There's, an entire secondary character who's, very important. And I don't remember her at all. I don't even remember her being in it. So much so that I was like, did they rewrite this? Because I don't remember this girl. I'm rereading Death Note. Yeah, it's Misa. She was huge on Tumblr. No, I did a vision board last time. Here's the things. Maybe... We could work on an overlay for when we talk about musicals. We could work on my personal calendar. We could work on the reading log. And over cabaret, so to speak. You're not wrong. Misa was the original brat is so funny. Okay, please hold. Reading journals, what I meant to say, not log. I mean, same thing. Reading journal, calendar, make an overlay on Canva. There was something else I thought about making on Canva. Oh, making a work vision board. Let's do 2 minutes. If you can't see the poll, if you leave and come back, it should show up. I'm so cold. Oh my goodness. Here, I'm going to let you guys vote for 2 minutes. I'm going to put it on BRB and go grab the heater. Please hold. Also, sorry the thing's not true. It says nothing on the BRB screen. Sorry about that. Hello, I'm back. I'll happily do the reading journal. That works for me. I'm trying to actually do it this year since I didn't really do it last year. If you're new here, this is my reading journal. Can you see it? Reading journal. I do love it so much. I had a baby last year, so didn't really actually do anything with this last year. But I am excited. I'm excited to do it this year. Let's go to where I have the newest, emptiest page. which is, I think, a good bit into this. Yeah, I haven't done this since the last one I put in here was The Girl on the Train, which I think was actually in 2022. Shout out to Quirky Cup Collective. I can't talk. Let's see. I think I'm just going to start with the beginning of... Oh, wow. No, I actually went much further. Made it to Mallory. Oh, here's Fourth Wing. Is that the last one I put in? That's actually going to be really funny. So halfway through 2023. So right before I got pregnant, actually. I say right, like a few months before I got pregnant. Yeah, that's so funny. So I'm about halfway done with it, which is really surprising. Here's the only other thing about doing the reading journal. I don't have a second camera to set up. I do... Thank you, Myth. I do... Well, let me look. Hang on. I used to have one. If I still had it, I know where it would be. Please hold. Thank you for your patience at this time. Okay, no. It was a good try, though. I think we sent our other camera to Kyle. The craft section has expanded since the clean out. Isn't that so interesting? Isn't that so interesting? But I hope you have fun at work, though. Hello, girlies. I had to move the big computer. Who could possibly... It's not panic crafting, it's panic collecting of crafts. That's the problem I'm having. That's... I can't believe the last one I wrote in here was so... That's so funny. Amazing. I mean, I'm on page 150 of the reading journal. So let's do... Here's what I'm thinking. I'll do Iron Flame next, which is the sequel to Fourth Wing. Then, let's go to my Goodreads. Or StoryGraph. Doesn't matter to me. Let's do StoryGraph. Sign in. Pinless. I can't believe this. Popular this week. Giveaways. I'll have to sign up for some giveaways later. How do I get to... Oh, I have 18 notifications. Oh my gosh, a bunch of people want to be my friend. Sorry, everyone. I haven't been... It's so much easier to use it on the computer, which is annoying. Okay, nice. Nice. Cool. How do I get to what I've read? Profile. That's so fair. If it's not for you, that's okay. Okay, yeah. What have I read this year? The last thing he told me. I'm not including Death Note. Oh, okay, perfect. So then it's only Iron Flame and then the last thing he told me. Oops. I feel like that's good. I am only friends with people I actually know in real life on Goodreads. Because I really like the social media aspect of it. I like to see what other people are reading and what they have to say and da-da-da-da. So I don't want it to be overcrowded with people who know who I am, but I don't know who they are. But my StoryGraph, I'm friends with literally everyone, because if there's a way to scroll and see what other people are reading, I've never found it. Oh, is it community? Hold on. It is. It is, but I feel like I don't get it. It doesn't work for me. The way, it's kind of like, do you guys know when they first, like, changed the layout of Instagram or anything? I'm the person who's like, I hate it. It's different and new, and I don't like the way it's laid out. I hate it. So, you know, that's who I am. I love this series so much. I'm so excited for the new Hunger Games book. I'm so excited for the new Hunger Games book. If you are unfamiliar, the Hunger Games series, original series, is a trilogy. And then in 2020... Was it 2020? Maybe 2021. A fourth book came out that is unrelated to the original, not unrelated, but like a complete separate story from the original three. And now, yeah, Songbirds and Snakes, I think, is that recent. Let me look. The movie came out in 2023. The book came out in 2020. May 19th, 2020. Which is bananas. Yeah. So it came out 5 years ago. In 2020. Which is still recent, I feel like. Because the movie only came out in 2023. So the new one is going to be, if you are familiar with the first three, it's going to be Haymitch's Hunger Games. Like, his games. Is the timeline. However, people are theorizing that either it's not going to be told from his perspective, which I think it is, honestly, or it's going to be told of, like, right. I don't, people, it's going to be, like, that time period, but from someone who's not even in the games. Just someone, like, in the district watching the games. I don't know. I don't know which one I'd rather it be, honestly. Because I feel like it's interesting both ways. It comes out March 23rd, March 19th. It's called Sunrise on the Reaping. March 18th, 2025. I'm so excited. Maybe multiple POVs? Really excited. I don't know. It's also like, I feel like when you really love a series and you really love an author, the more things that they do, the more things they put out and you still like them, I also feel like the higher they can possibly fall. You know what I mean? So I'm a little afraid. I'm a little afraid that I won't like it, which is silly because I've liked all the other ones. The other thing is, like, I'm very easy to please as a reader, honestly. Hello, welcome. I'm a very easy to please reader. I don't need much. If you didn't see that thing that I shared with that person who was like, I'm not a smart reader, that's me. Happily, I'm not a smart reader. I'm not trying to outsmart anyone. I am just trying to have a good time. So, I don't know. We'll see. Again, I'm nervous, but I'm sure it'll be good. If it's in vaguely good English and it's fun, I'll give it 5 stars. Yes. I don't hold my, 5 stars. My average, I think, is 4 point something on, Goodreads and StoryGraph as far as, what I give people, what I give books. That being said, if I give your book 3 stars or less, I had a hard time finishing it, probably. I am begging Goodreads to get an update that allows me to have a do not finish category, because it's so nice to have on StoryGraph. I feel like getting off of social media, a great way to do that is definitely to read more. Because it is... I'm very particular with my 5 stars. I won't just give it out to any book. I have a do not finish, like, shelf. A did not finish shelf. Can I look at the dates I've read this? I do own this. Let me go to Goodreads. Sorry. I love StoryGraph for so many things, but looking at my dates, I don't feel like it's very good at. Goodreads. I know it's owned by Amazon. I'm sorry. I feel like it's easier to read. Oh, this is what I want. Sign in is what I want. Don't wanna let you know. I only give it 5 stars if it's a new favorite. 4 if I liked it, but I wouldn't read it again, and 3 below for everything else. I also started doing this thing like last year, 2 years ago. What? Why did I say year? Like last month, 2 months ago. I no longer do like every night I go in and I show like how much I read. I put every book on 5%, and then when I finish it I go, I'm finished. Because I would be like, if I am not able to update my reading like number that night, then like what's the point of even reading? And that is so not true. I like reading. I don't want to stress myself out by having to put in like I read this many pages today. So I'm not. So I won't. Let's see. I finished on June 23rd for this one. It's just too much. Yeah. My Kindle's not linked to my Goodreads. I would say mostly because my Kindle is basically always on airplane mode. I download a bunch of books, and then I put my phone on airplane mode. And that's what I do. Okay, what I'm actually doing is updating my 4th wing. I finished it on the 23rd of 2023. And I'll fill in my, like, feelings later. Yeah. Don't wanna let you know. So the benefit of airplane mode, if you're not a Kindle reader, once you download a book to your Kindle, and then make sure you click on the book at least once to like open it and get to like the first page. And I usually go to the first page and then like just skip through the first couple pages just to make sure it's all like showing up. Do that with every book that you've downloaded, and then put your Kindle on airplane mode. It will stay on there forever until you take it off of airplane mode and connect to the Wi-Fi again. So what people will do, and it doesn't affect like people who are borrowing the book digitally, what it will do, number 1, it saves your battery. Number 2, I can have like 13 books that all became available at once at my library, put my phone on airplane mode, and then not take it off of airplane mode for like months until I want more books. And I can just have those 13 books ready to go at any point on my Kindle. So I'll read them until I read all of them, and then I'll put them back. Yeah, it works on the Kobo too. I don't have the Kobo. Our friend Hannah actually has the Kobo. And big fans. Love it. Yeah, it's really nice because it's like, it also keeps me off the internet even more to have it like, not that, I mean, I think you can access the internet on the Kindle. I don't know how. I have the Paperwhite. I love it. I personally don't have any reason to buy the more expensive one. It stopped working on my Kobo recently. They still expired. No. That's so sad. It still works on the Kindle. At least right now it does. Let's see. What's November? 11? 11. 7. 2023. And then 11/20. Yeah. Mine expired on the Kindle. Oh no. That's so sad. Mine hasn't recently. Although, to be honest, I've finished most of mine before they expired. No, that isn't true. I've definitely still had it work in the last 2 months. People say that if you want stuff from AO3, the Kobo's better. Again, I don't read stuff on AO3 and I don't have a Kobo, so I can't speak to either of those things. But that is what I've heard. I don't know. I don't want buttons. If you're someone who wants physical buttons to click, the Kobo I've heard is better. They do make a Kindle that has buttons, but it's so expensive. Yeah, I feel like I'm technically a member of like the Multnomah, which is Portland's library. I feel like it gives me a lot of books. I got mine in April of 2023. A Kobo, it's just like a Kindle or a Nook. It's just an e-reader. But it's not owned by Amazon. Kindle is owned by Amazon. So if you're trying to divest, I would say the pros of the Kobo, from what I've heard, are that it's not owned by Amazon. It has physical buttons. That's all I really know. There's a setting to leave the book cover on always, and it burnt into my screen. I've never even heard of that, Anonymous Sandcat. My Libby really sucks. Oh no, that's so sad. Do you have anyone whose house you can pretend to live at enough to get a library card? It's waterproof and made from recycled materials. Depends on the model. Interesting. I don't want to read in the bath. Not that way. I'll listen to audiobooks in the shower sometimes by just like having my phone next to the shower really loud. The Kindle I got, it was the cheapest, number one. Number two, like similar to the reasons that why I like Goodreads, but I still use other platforms also. There's just like things that I like about it because it's the most popular one that makes it easier. You know what I mean? I cannot listen to the kind of audiobooks I listen in the shower out loud. A lot of libraries let you have a card by paying an annual fee. Sometimes if you work in another town or city, they'll let you have a library card there too. That's smart. Please, please, please look into your library. More than ever. We really need libraries to be available and happening. Please, for the love of God. If you don't have a library card, please go get one. I'm begging you. The Nashville one is good. If you don't live there, it's $10 for a year. That is good. Some of them are like $50 for a year. Which like go off. But I don't really have $50 to pay for a library card. I mean, mine's working fine. If you're queer, look into the Queer Liberation Library. Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. Is that even how it goes? When you've got a library card. I don't know. Hey, and one thing about me, I don't know. This was my second reread of Iron Flame. I loved it. I'm only going in and adding in the words, by the way. I don't know how to know which libraries have better catalogs, though. You can be a member of more than one library. I would argue that's the best part. So I'm a member of like our actual library here in Salem and then also in Portland. I am debating paying for another one. San Francisco Library allows any California resident to get a card. A lot of libraries are like that. It's just like if you live in your state, you can have it. I have my childhood library card and the Portland library card too. The Portland one's good. If you live in the UK, I think most libraries let you sign up for a temporary online-only card. Yeah. Yeah, my one for Portland is an online-only card. Like, I never had to go in person. Oh, I heard you can pay to get one, but I don't know which ones are worth it. I see. Sorry. That makes sense. You want to know which ones to pay for. I think that makes sense. I was debating trying to get one at, like, a big city. But then I was like, maybe that's worse because, like, there's so many people living there. I got a card in my local libraries network and the largest library in New York that's located in New York City. Like, do they have digital copies of, like hundreds of digital copies? The Libby lines are really long. Hundreds is so many. What I wish they could do is just not... I don't know. I don't work at the library, and I don't work for a book company. But I don't understand why digital versions of books are almost just as expensive as a normal book. Oh no, what's happening? Is everyone still here? It did that connecting to the chat thing. The Philadelphia Public Library is a great... You got married at the library? That's so cute. Your library card expired? I didn't even know they could expire. Okay, good. Nice. Nice. Okay, hang on. I'm about to go on BRB to help out Felix. Let me first do our... They can, in fact, expire. Here you have to renew your card every year? That's so bananas. They really don't want you to read. I mean, the people at the library do. I mean, like, the man. There's one. And then... Hang on. I'm fixing my currently reading for the BRB. I'll do incidents around the house. I'm currently reading a couple of different things. I'll do both of them. I lied to everyone. Having fun isn't hard when you got a library card. I think it depends on the library in England, but I also haven't looked at my library card. You just need to show your address hasn't changed. I got a new library card just to get the cool looking one. Are your library cards actual physical cards? Yeah. I mean, my online one isn't. The one that I have in Portland, but otherwise, yeah. What am I reading next? That's a great question. Oh, I do know what I'm reading next. Content warning, scary cover. Actually, maybe I'll do Incense Around the House as my next reading, even though I'm technically still reading it. Okay, 1 second. Hello, sorry. Felix had to go to the bathroom. and the baby's sleeping, so I had to hold him. Anyway. Yeah. What were we even talking about before that? Libraries. I know. It's an impossible... Somebody must be paying for these views, and it's not me. I can't believe so many people are here. Yeah, I heard Pinless, they said you were already really well read, so you didn't need a library card anymore. They said, no, Pinless doesn't need it. We've done the research says no. I just finally remembered to catch the new stream time. To be fair, it's been really cuckoo bananas over here. Well, it's hard. I don't know if any of you guys have a baby, but I tell you what, it makes it really hard to work. The Magic Kitten books? No, but I'm interested. Tell me more. Who is the Magic Kitten? I have so many questions. What did I do with here? It is. They claim I stole Frank Herbert's Dune. Did you read it? Hello. I'm glad. I really like streaming, honestly. Although I really should. Dad has a second camera upstairs. I did in fact steal it. I should set up the second camera so that when I'm doing things like updating my reading journal, you guys can actually see. Yeah. My favorite was the Classroom Chaos book, and it's so silly because now I have a black and white cat. That's so cute. I would say fiction. Right now I'm reading fantasy, but typically I read horror. Although in the chat we have people reading all kinds of books. Even people who read nonfiction. Sorry. Yes, people who read nonfiction. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm actually going back and filling out my Fourth Wing one because... Sorry. I make the rules, and if I want to go backwards, I can. I do bring my books back on time if anyone else has a hold on them. I am always really good about taking my books back, my physical books back on time. My digital books, I will be using the IKEA? What's wrong with me? The Kindle hack of putting my phone on, or my Kindle on airplane mode. I thought you were apologizing to us for reading nonfiction. No. I want everyone to read whatever they want to read. 7, you could join the Fourth Wing group. I also feel like, what kind of books are you looking for? We can all help 7. As long as it's fine with 7. What kind of books are you looking for? Wrong. I do not want you to read Harry Potter. Oh my god, speaking of which. So on the Kindle, if you are like trying to update your library from like XYZ, from like downloading another book or whatever, it doesn't matter. It'll take you to like the Kindle store. On the Kindle store yesterday, it's like because you read like Iron Flame and one other like fantasy book, I don't remember which one. Anyway, maybe you're interested in this. I really like the audiobook. It says like maybe you're like recommended or whatever it is. Sorry, I have to close my eyes so I don't read chat or I'm gonna forget to talk. The things it recommended me was like I think like ACOTAR and then Haunting Adeline, which is another like fantasy, very heavy on the smut from what I understand book. I haven't read it, but like that was recommended. And then a couple of other like fantasy things that definitely have like sex scenes in them. And then Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which is the first one. And I think we all know, everybody here, like, fuck J.K. Rowling, fuck Harry Potter. That's not even what I'm here to talk about. That's a children's book. That's a children's book for children. Why would you recommend it based on adult book for adults with lots of slutty positive things happening? Super heavy on the smut. And I've not read the Harry Potter books, right? It's the explicit cut. HP and Haunting Adeline should not be grouped together, right? And I was like, I didn't read these books, but I'm pretty sure nobody has sex. It's the AO3 addiction. They're thinking of the fan fiction community. Like, you know, I hate the world you crafted here. It's like one ACOTARs in the YA section. So true. Someone did tell me once in one of our comments. Now, I'd like to be clear, I don't know what kind of credentials this person has. But, like, sometimes publishers push for something to be in YA when, like, it really shouldn't be because the rest of them aren't going to be in, like, appropriate. So, while Sarah J. Maas is problematic for different reasons that I'm not going to get into because that's not my job, I don't know if it was her idea to put it in YA. Maybe it was. No idea. I don't know. I'm not really a young adult reader. Shelly, I don't know if Shelly's watching today, but Shelly reads a lot of young adult. And, like, we met someone who was at the Onyx Storm midnight release who also reads a lot of young adult. Now, met's a strong word. I overheard someone saying that they typically read a lot of young adult. I like fantasy if it's not too much world building, which is kind of like the point of fantasy, right? So, I don't ever call myself a fantasy reader because it's not something I typically do. Like, I haven't read Dune. I don't plan to read The Lord of the Rings. What I mostly want is, like, enough world building to, like, understand the characters and then kind of, like, going at it, just getting into it, you know? I would say that, like, I've found myself in the past 2 years, I always thought I was not someone who really wanted to read, like, anything smutty. And, like, lately, I'm like, you know, I am kind of seeing it. I'm kind of getting it. I've never read cozy fantasy. Here's the thing. If you're new around here. I'm traumatized, right? Like, we all know. A lot has happened to me in my life. Not that I'm complaining. But because of that, there are two types of people who are, like, dealing with the stress of, like, the current world or perhaps their past with reading, like, reading fiction. And some people want, like, nothing bad to happen to anyone. And they just want to read, like, Hallmark romance type, cozy, easy peasy books. And there is nothing wrong with that. It is still reading. It still counts. I'm not knocking it. That is not me. I tried to read an Emily Henry book. I did read it. If you don't know, she's, like, a famous, like, kind of rom-com. I forget what they call them. But, like, really easy peasy Hallmark romance type writer. People swear by her. They love her. Everything she writes, they're obsessed with. It was one of the worst books, in my opinion, I've ever read. Worst books for me. For what I'm looking for, because, like, it was so predictable. I didn't feel like there was any depth to, like, any characters. It was not, it's just not what I'm looking for in a book. Now, one of my favorite books that I have ever read, so much is happening. His wife, the main character's wife, just died. He's being haunted by both his robot with a first name owned by Amazon. I mean, his isn't. It's obviously they couldn't say Alexa, but he's also being haunted. There's, like, a giant, like, door that's following him. There's, like, a really crazy scene with this, like, cuckoo banana zombie dog type thing. A lot is going on for this guy. It was called This Thing Between Us, and I think about it probably once a week. I loved it. It had horrible reviews. Maybe not horrible. Let me go look. It was one of my favorite books. I read it digitally, and I think I'm gonna buy it and read it like physically. It has a 3.7 average, so not horrible. But the cover is like, it's not gross. But it is like a little like warpy, not warpy. I don't know what word I would use. Yeah. I like action and low serious triggers overall. Yeah. It was one of my favorite books of all time. One of my other favorite books, which is surprising because it's the kind of book where you have to Google what happened at the end. This is a book that I loved. And this has a 3.5 overall, and that's really surprising to me. Oh, no, I want the other cover. Where's the cover I like? Oh, here we go. Open, please. It's called I'm Thinking of Ending Things. So this book I don't even know how to describe it. I felt like this was one of the best books I've ever read. I don't want to give away too much because I think it was so good because I knew nothing about it. But Netflix made a movie about it. And it's one of the worst, what's one of the best produced, best acted, worst movies I've ever seen. Especially because the entire second half of the book is completely different from what they did in the movie. Maybe not second half, maybe like last third. The movie is, it does not go in the direction that I thought it would. And it is like a fever dream of a movie. But I thought it was such a good book, and that's really surprising considering number one, usually my complaint is I don't want to get to the end of your book and have to Google what happened. This was like a book, this is like the exception to the rule type book, because so many things happen in this that I typically don't like, and I loved it. One of my favorite books of, when did I read it? I think 2022. Does it tell me? You read this book. I did. October of 23. I just mostly remember the vibes of the book and then the ending. I mostly remember the vibes of a book. I very rarely... I've heard if you liked the movie, then you will probably also like the book. But I've heard that it only happens if you see the movie first. I did also read Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. This was called, the one I'm talking about right now is I'm Thinking of Ending Things. I really liked it. A lot of people did not like it. That's okay. Really shows you, yeah, as someone said earlier, really shows you. I want to listen to the audiobook of both of those so bad because I think it would be really interesting. Goodbye, Penless. The other thing that I will say about being who I am as a person, and if you've been around a while, you've already heard this, but, I am a horror girly, mostly, and what's most funny, it happens a lot less now, but when I first started, like, getting back into reading, I, like, talked about being a horror girly. I've always been a horror girly. So many people, with all the love and light in the world, so much love and light, I'm not complaining, I'd like to be clear, but so many people would message me and be like, well, have you looked at the content warnings for this book, like, just so you know, and it would be like the content warnings are like blood, murder, a couple of like kind of stressful things, and like as a horror girly, that's nothing. That's like a little drizzle on a bright day. It's just so funny because people who don't normally read horror, but who read this one book or whatever, will be like, please look at the content warnings. Which is so fair, but I'm always like, this ain't my first rodeo, girl. I would say the only thing that I felt wildly unprepared for, content warning wise, ever, is when I read a book that I actually gave 2.5 stars at the end of last year, by Leanne Moriarty. One of the main characters, their brother dies, and it's like a book that's told in multiple perspectives. So it's like the brother / son of the parents, if that makes sense. And they talk a lot about the grief of still being around when someone decides to not be around on this planet anymore. And that was hard. Only because it was so accurate and descriptive. It was a lot. And even then, that's not something they would maybe even content warning on, like, does the dog die or anything? So, like, I love gory movies, but I've never read horror books. Listen. What you should do is read the book of a movie you really like. I just bought the Ring book. I didn't even know it was a book. I'm very excited to read it. Sorry, it's asking, my reading journal's like, what did you like about this book? And it's hard to put into words. But I think something that I'm trying to take into creating a reading journal or, like, filling out a reading journal is, like, it's literally just for me. So if all I write is, like, vibes, that is literally, it's my prerogative. There's no wrong way to fill out something that's just for me. Books are scarier to me because my imagination can go further, but that isn't always bad. Yes. Listen, incidents around the house. If you like horror, I am legitimately scared to go to sleep at night sometimes. I'm excited to read The Exorcist. I've never read it. Yeah. But yeah, I'm mostly a horror. I also love a suburban mom thriller. I've said that several times. I don't know. I want to join a book club so badly, but I kind of want the book club. I want to join 2 book clubs, and I want, like, kind of a real one where it's, like, people who are more similar to me, who are reading, like, maybe horror and thriller and, like, gay books. But then I also kind of want to, like, incognito go to one of, like, moms who do Pilates. Because sometimes, like, the Reese Witherspoon book club stuff, it's good. Is it a little predictable in its thrillerness? Like, yes. But it's interesting. I think there's pros and cons to every genre. Something about the horror genre is you will come upon a man who considers himself a horror writer, and actually what he wrote was just a book full of girls having horrible things happen to them, and that is a different thing. That is not horror. I have not read any of Chuck Tingle's books. I would say Purple Flower, great question. My taste in, like, movies or, like, visual things, I would say I'm much more sensitive. And during pregnancy, I was very sensitive to, like, everything. But now I feel like it's been long enough that I'm back into the things I'm normally into. I even read one recently where, like, the main character's son died, and I didn't think anything of it because, like, I just cast him. I didn't cast him as my son. You know what I mean? I cast him as some other kid. Yeah, no, that's fair. That's so fair. I was definitely, I was, like, crying a lot more when I was pregnant, which is crazy because I'm always crying. But I feel like I'm finally, like, out of that. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I do think that becoming a parent obviously changes you in a lot of ways, but mine not so much. But I think it's because the whole reason that I read is to escape. And so when things are stressful, if I read a book where, like, even more stressful things are happening to this main character, I'm like, you know what? At least my house isn't haunted by a monster right now. Oh, I have heard this. It won't let you say moiter. I'm so sorry, but I have heard of that. It is weirdly interesting how differently people consume media. I used to be the kind of person who, in like my early 20s, I was like kind of a snob about like everything. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why, but now that I'm older, I'm like, why did I care? Literally, why did I care that some people were like, oh, I only like fluffy musicals? Okay, that's great. Good for you. I'm glad you're having a good time. Why do I care what other people are doing? I cry all the time now, so I'm terrified of what's going to happen when I get pregnant. It's so different. Yeah, I did really like being pregnant though.
Yeehaw.
What's really surprising, hello, welcome.
We're all making it through the day okay.
That's true. My frontal lobe did develop. I'm 30 now. I'm trying to figure out if I like men or not. So true. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably true. I also was like, Felix always calls it raised by Republicans disease. But like, tell me why? Why was I raised to care what other people were wearing or doing or thinking? It really doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me at all. Hello, welcome. My favorite thing that I miss being pregnant is how incredibly like babied I was. Loved it so much. Not that like people are now being like, you have to do hard things, but like I really loved being like, I don't want to get up and I'm pregnant, so can you please? I also I don't know, I kind of liked having cravings, if that makes sense. Maybe it's because not pregnant and not having cravings so much, I sometimes don't know what I want to read, what I want to eat. But when I was pregnant, there was like, if you remember, there was like a full 2 months where all I had for like almost every meal was like a sandwich and green beans. I was going through like 2 or 3 cans of green beans a day for a while. Which sounds really good right now, actually. Maybe I'll have that for lunch. But it was just like, it was all I wanted. And I was like, why would I? My advice for when you give birth is to bring snacks. Bring so many snacks. So many more snacks than you think you'll need. And I don't mean like for like the day that you're delivering. The day like after. So hungry. So the hungriest girl in the world. Me canned green beans. Straight from the can. No, Felix would warm them up and put like seasonings on them. There was also like a few weeks where all I wanted was like the deviled eggs, like middles. I don't want the white part on toast. And actually, I still want that right now. The problem is you can't make deviled egg middles without wasting a bunch of white egg. And the yellow part of an egg is the part that's tasty, right? I get my green bean fixation every 4 months or so. Yeah. Green beans is the long ones or the little blob-shaped beans? The long one, yeah, not lima beans. Do they call those green beans also where you're from, Teeth and Honey? Yes, I would say the thing I really don't miss, that I would say all of this can be described by what we called my autism trial while I was pregnant, which is just exactly peace quack. That's what people said, but like egg salad with just the white parts wouldn't taste the same, you know? I would say the part that I miss the least is being so overstimulated so quickly. Felix or other like autistic people that we're friends with would describe things that they were experiencing, and I was like sympathetic to it and like could understand the words they were saying, right? But I was like, I mean, you know, that sucks. But like, what are you gonna do? You know? And then being pregnant, I like famously love the grocery store. Love going to the grocery store. I have a fun time. I love buying stuff. I love strangers. I love meeting people. I have never cared before when people touch me, you know? And then being pregnant, I mean, like, I care if someone were to try to, like, grab me, you know what I mean? But, like, we're in the South, where I'm from at least, people I feel like are kind of touchy anyway. So, like, you talk to someone and you, like, touch their shoulder, or, I don't know, you know what I mean? I've never thought much about it. People don't do that out here, but whatever. So, but pregnant, we would go to the store, and I would be, like, in the middle of the store, and I would be like, I have to leave right now. Like, there are tears in my eyes, and I have to go stand outside. And, like, that had never happened to me before. And then on top of that, I talked about this in the parenting Q&A, but I didn't want to really see my friends. Not that I didn't love them or anything, but I was just so tired all the time. And so, like, I was, like, not even responding to text messages. I would just be asleep, or I would just, like, want to watch something. And I have had depression my whole life, and it's never been like that. I've never been that tired all the time. And then also, I had never experienced, like, being in the middle of eating something and then hating it so much and being like, I can't possibly even imagine a world in which I finish eating this meal. That had never happened to me. And again, people had described these things to me, and I was like, that sucks. But, like, like, I was sympathetic, but not, like, empathetic. You know what I mean? So I'd be like, I mean, but, like, this is what we have to eat. Like, you have to eat this if you want to eat. Like, we can't afford to buy more, or whatever. Not that anyone I live with or anyone has ever made it my problem. Ever. I'd like to be clear. I'm not complaining about anyone. But, like, I would be like, okay, like, I don't know how to help. And there's not anything you can do. But yeah, so Felix would describe it, or Bo, or whoever. I have a lot of autistic friends. Would describe, like, these things happening to them. And I would be like, that sucks. Like, I'm sorry. But, like, not really think more of it. And what being pregnant did confirm for me is that I do not normally experience any of those things. For sure. Because I was experiencing them for the first time. And I was and then on top of that, there was, like, a lot of fear that I was going to be like this forever. Because some people postpartum, like, they just, like, are different. They just, like, change. I wanted something so bad, and then as soon as I was about to eat it, it would make me so nauseous. Yeah. So, yeah, I did learn a lot about myself, but then it was, like I said, a lot of fear that I was going to be like this forever. And I wasn't. I would say, like, within 6 weeks of my baby being born, I was back to normal, back to, like, being so excited to have people over. I would say I was very tired because I wasn't sleeping very well, but, like, my emotional energy, I would say, is back to normal. Oh, my goodness. That's what I'm saying, Arrow. I'm very curious. It was a lot of me crying, being like, how do you live like this all the time? But I will say, like, being in therapy and, like, I don't know, like, we have a pretty good communication system, so I hope that Felix isn't, like, that overstimulated all the time. I'm autistic and pregnant and can confirm that pregnancy is, like, double autism in a lot of ways. But people are much nicer, and maybe I'm wrong. I would say as a society, people are much nicer to someone who's pregnant than someone who's autistic. I'll give you autism pregnancy updates. You just live like this all the time. Yeah, it's hard. Yes. It's also, like, and again, like, it's a silly joke here on stream. I would never make a TikTok or someplace where people love to take things out of context where I'm like, oh, it's a free trial of autism. But it's a silly joke in our house and here on stream that's what was happening to me when I was pregnant. I forgot where I was going. Yeah, I have a lot more empathy. I talked on stream before about how I was like, I kind of want to make a video. And I'm not going to because, again, TikTok and short form is where nuance goes to die. But I want to make one being like, first of all, I definitely know that I don't have chronic illness or chronic fatigue or autism. At least not in the ways that they would experience this. Because wow, I got to experience them, and it turns out I don't normally have those things happening to me. People are much more understanding of my needs because they can see why I need them. Yes. They should put that in the leaflet. But yeah, I want to be like, chronic illness. People would describe being like, oh, I'm just like too tired to see my friends. And I was like, you're not putting in effort. And I'd like to be clear. I do think there are absolutely people who are not putting in effort in relationships sometimes. And so they lose those relationships. But I am more sympathetic now to people who truly just like are going through it. You know what I mean? Like I people said it and I was like, okay, but like how hard could that be? You're sleepy. All right. And like now, and like I'd like to be clear, I didn't know that's how I was feeling. Does that make sense? It's like I thought that I was being an ally by being like, I'm sorry. And now I'm like, do you want me to clean your house? Like that sounds horrible. I'm like, what do you mean now that I know everything is worse? Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully no one's going to be like, Morgan doesn't believe in chronic illness, because that's not true. I thought I believed in it before, and now it's like, holy crap, man. I thought I knew what they were going through, but I did not. I really did not. Anyway, so I thought about making a video being like, I tell you what, you want someone to be more of an ally to the chronic illness and autistic community? Get them pregnant, because holy crap. I feel like I'm microdosing chronic illness. Yeah. I do wish everyone could have a little trial download, which honestly, it makes sense, because I think there are a lot of people in the world who like are nice to service workers, like, I'll just be specific, I guess, who are nice to like servers. And they're like, yeah, it's hard to be a server. But then if they had to also be a server, then they'd be like, oh, holy shit, it's really hard to be a server, you know? Like, I think it's similar to that. I don't think the person A before they experience it is like a bad person or anything. Gonna go impregnate everyone. That's true. Thank you, Stevie Nicks. It is good to acknowledge when we've learned to do better. No. Illyria, listen, I do, like, I know people in the chat, a couple people are like, I'm autistic and pregnant and it's worse. But there are some people that I have followed who have been autistic and pregnant, and they were like, it honestly wasn't that bad, because it's like, oh yeah, this is just what it's like all the time. As someone who was a teacher for a summer, I have even more respect for the teachers I grew up with. Yeah. It happens. But I will say overall, I loved being pregnant. I'm very curious how my future pregnancy will compare. I'm very curious to see if it's the same. I have no idea. We have a cousin who is has a 3-year-old and is pregnant now. And I'm like, you must be so tired, girl. You must be so sleepy. Because I can't imagine. Also, people who have 2 under 2, they should be paid by the government. Because I can't imagine being that tired and having our baby right now. That sounds exhausting just talking about it. My mom was a waitress and then became a teacher while raising me, and so now I have the utmost respect for both. Yeah, we talk a lot about tipping loudly when we go out to eat. Not like I'm going to tip you so much, not to the person, but like in front of our baby or like in front of our friends to make sure everyone understands. Although all of our closest friends have all either been servers or been something where you get tipped, so. I'm taking new birth control and I'm like, hey, everything pisses me off. Don't breathe unless you want to fight. Yes, there's I think a TikTok, or maybe it was in the parenting video. I don't know. There's like something somewhere where I talked about how like I had never been so angry at so many old men who I've never met than when I was pregnant. If I went to the grocery store and there was any man over 50 years old, I wanted to push him down the stairs. Because without fail, he would be like standing in the middle of an aisle or like loudly talking about how his shoes are too tight. And I'd be like, oh, is your life so hard? You're 50 years old. You have a house. You have a stable job. Shh. Stop talking. Just stop. They made me so mad. It didn't matter what they did. I was 15 and babysitting triplet 1-year-olds, and I remember calling my mom crying multiple times a day. And I just did that for one summer. Me and my sister were 2 under 2. Oh my goodness. They were always breathing so loud. I am so nice to everyone I encounter. Yes. Also, if I see someone being mean to a different service worker, I will very loudly be like, I'm so sorry. I think you look really cute and you're doing a really good job. I love to piss someone else off that was mean to someone. I can't do it as much. One time, actually, we were, when I was still a cast member at Disney World, we were in the Starbucks at Disney World. And me and my brother, who's youngest, I think, if I'm remembering right, were there, like, waiting on our drinks, whatever. And we've all had this experience, right, where the worker is like, oh, like, decaf latte for Michelle? Like, decaf latte, Michelle? And they say it, like, 6 times, and Michelle never comes up. And then Michelle comes up, and she's, like, yelling and screaming and da-da-da-da. I should have picked a different name, because my mother-in-law's name is Michelle, but... Sorry, this is the first one that came to mind. And yells, and everyone's just standing there around. And then my brother, very boldly, which honestly he should do because he's a white man and he should use his powers for good, was like, man, I wish I had such a good life that the worst thing that happened to me was at my vacation at Disney World, my latte was a little cold because I didn't listen for my name because I was too busy texting on my phone. Gosh, man, what a good life. Which honestly, I mean, we're all there on vacation, so we're all having a pretty good day. But she shut up. And I was like, man, that's a dream. I have to do that when I go out with my grandma. She's so rude to the workers. That's my mom. She's so rude to everyone. And autism pregnancy feels similar, but spread out over 9 months, but like in a paced out way, so it's not awful. It's because everyone's being so nice to you also. Ate her up, OMG. Can you imagine? People are so mean at Disney World, honestly. And they're also, some of them are like the nicest ever. Mostly, I would say. But like the people who want to be mean on vacation really want to be mean. That's iconic behavior. I couldn't do it because I worked there, you know what I mean? I mean, I wasn't on the clock in that moment, but, like, I didn't want to get in trouble. Yes, it's true. I have so much help. People are so nice to you when you're pregnant. Oh, my gosh. They're so nice to you. Also, in the hospital, everyone's so nice to you. It's so nice. Yeah, I miss that. I'm really excited in the future when I'm pregnant again. I'm very curious to see. Felix does a great job modeling. I hope we both do a good job, but Felix in particular does a really great job of modeling, like helping out our family and like helping out me in particular. So like when I'm sitting down and, Felix goes to like get something for me or refill my water bottle or whatever, I love to be like holding the baby being like, oh, that's so nice of daddy to like help me out by doing something nice for me and da da da. And like when we were all cleaning up the like rental that we had this last weekend with like the big family, I was holding him and I was like, see how everybody's pitching in, like cleaning the kitchen and vacuuming and da da da. Like, it's so nice to help our family. And he's really small, right? But I'm trying to give myself the habit of being like, you know, pointing out how we're all helping each other. Oh, we're not moving anywhere. We all got this house together on purpose. The upstairs neighbors are the ones who have, like, you know, credit that's good and things. So legally, as far as I understand, the house is like only in their name. They put down the deposit. Is that what it's called? On a house? That seems like too silly, too easy of a word. But yeah, they put it down, but like we call it rent, but like down payment. Thank you. we pay our rent, and we call it rent because it's an easy one syllable word, but like we are paying part of the mortgage every month. We all got this house on purpose. I have no idea what we'll do. I love to problem solve things like that. So it depends on a couple of things. I don't know if Bo's going to live here forever. I think it would be fine if they did. I think we could figure it out. I really like that we all live together, but also like Bo may want their own place in the future. No idea. But there are a couple of things in the works. I think the reason we don't talk about it so much is number one, I just don't want people to like have a layout of our house. Anytime we like film like tours of our house, we kind of do it in a weird way for like that reason. I don't want everyone necessarily knowing like if you looked at the front of our house, which we never show, but if we did, like I don't want them to be like, oh, this is their room and this is da 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 da. Or at least I want it to be very difficult to do that. So I don't think we would tell anyone what we did if we were to like add on to the house until way later. There's also like our room is huge, as like I'm sure you've seen. We could flip everything around and make our room a room for like 2 kids. That's like huge. And make the tiny baby room our bedroom, and then basically use a room upstairs as like an office. So like there's a couple of options. I don't know what we'll do. It's years away, so I'm not super stressed. What I'm most stressed about as far as any of that goes is that I am so convinced that because we keep saying like, oh, we're only having 2 kids, like, so it won't be that hard to just add one more. I am convinced we're going to have twins. Like, we've been saying it too much now that I feel like there's no way we're not. Yeah, I love multi-generational living. My biggest advice to anyone who's considering doing it is like it needs to be 2 living spaces. I don't know if it would work as well if it was essentially like a 5-bedroom ranch house that had like 1 kitchen, as if we were all like roommates. I feel like that's too similar to how it was when like Felix was growing up with their parents, and I think that would potentially cause like a lot of fights. But the good news is, if it's something that you're planning on doing years down the line, you have a long time to, like, think about that. Because maybe that's just for us. Like, maybe for some people that wouldn't cause any issues. The pelicans are eavesdropping and conspiring for twin delivery. Do you mean the storks? Yeah. Separate houses, just the same plot of land. I've seen a lot of people planning on doing that. I know a couple of people who like went to high school with me who have been like planning for years, like them and their family saving up to buy land to then build separate houses. I also have seen where people like who can't afford a house just like get different apartments in the same like building, which is also very possible, hopefully. Pelicans got more space is so true. Pelicans are for the gays. Me and my 2 siblings shared an 11 by 11 room when I was 12 years old. That's a small space. Honestly, are you a minimalist now? Which way did you go? Are you a minimalist or do you have a lot of stuff now? I never had to share a room. My brothers had to share a room for a little bit. Imagine a pelican flying through the sky and looking down at a baby that just appeared. That's so true. Honestly, it should be a pelican. They do have more room. You're literally right. You're right, and you should say that. Okay, my dears. I have to go hang out with my baby, who's very cute and definitely needs to be kissed on. So, I'm actually going to send you guys over to Shandy Lyons, who is Australian and wonderful and very clowncore and very funny. It looks like they are playing Toontown, which is really cute. But yeah, let me know if you have anything you want to see next week. Right now I'm sticking with one stream a week for a little bit. Until we get a little more scheduled every week. But yeah, that's all. Everyone say hi to Shandy Lyons. I'm obsessed with her. I love you so much. Goodbye.